7-Ray D.
Hello everybody, I'm Trady. I'm here to showcase the newest DLC for Resident Evil Village, The Shadows of Rose, on the hardest difficulty, Hardcore. And let me just get right to the position so we can soon start the timer here. I need to skip a couple cutscenes here. Also, I'll apologize if I'll struggle making sentences. It's 6 a.m. for me. I've been staying up the whole night, but... So, I'm gonna give it a countdown timer for the run in 3, 2, 1, and time. And yeah, we are in the game officially. And in the beginning, there's not too much happening here. We're just following this like introduction part of the run where we just kind of, you know, we're just walking straight corridors and all that. So meanwhile, I'm gonna introduce my fellow commentators. One of the commentators was actually supposed to be running this, but he's having some internet issues. So luckily, at least, he came back to commentate at least. Why don't you introduce yourself, Spicee?
Hey guys, my name is Spicee. I'm also a village runner that played a lot of this DLC, fellow W holding enjoyer, current record holder, and yeah, also hopefully future runner of some other Resident Evil games.
And the other commentator I have with me is one of the gods of Resident Evil 7. Current world record holder for, I think, most world categories in the game, Ezekiel.
Thanks, Trey. Hi, everyone. I'm Captain Ezekiel, also a village runner and a router alongside these guys for Shadows of Rose. And you guys are in for a treat of a run. Trey's going to kill it.
But yeah, as I mentioned, there's not too much happening in the beginning here. So maybe, Ezekiel, you could give a little bit of a rundown what this DLC is about.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you couldn't guess by now, we're playing as Rose Winters. This is the daughter of Ethan and Mia Winters. The lore here is that we're 17 years after the events of Resident Evil Village. And Rose here has a lot of powers that she struggles with in her day-to-day life. And the story that we're in here is Rose goes to a scientist to figure out a solution to get rid of her power. She wants to get rid of it, and the solution is to go into the consciousness of the Mega Mycete, which is essentially the connecting power that she has and the other antagonists of Village have. So that's where we are right now. So I things look really weird, really gross, and we're following a mimic version of Rose, is because the whole premise of this is we're trying to go through it and get like a crystal that we could let absorb our powers so we can get rid of them and stop struggling, because the premise is that Rose is seeing visions of the other people who are attached to, you know, the Mega Mycete and everything. So that's kind of like the high level of what's going on here. And there's a lot of stuff. You're going to see a lot of familiar characters if you play through Village normally as we go through this run. But that's essentially why we're here.
Yeah, it's like a very almost... I always like this DLC run, a little bit of evil within, like we're inside a kind of a consciousness and things are very unnatural here. Also language throws. But yeah, in the beginning, there's gonna be like this introduction is like, I think it's like 5 minutes in total. It's just following up kind of these straight corridors mostly, and our movement speed is also very slow in this intro part. So yeah, also watch out for the jump scare here. We're gonna see a lot of these mimic roses being dead here, kind of all over. But yeah, we're soon... I'm gonna start explaining this system because this is gonna come in play like really soon here. A lot of Resident Evil games have like dynamic difficulty system. So whenever you select your difficulty, it sets your like baseline difficulty score of the game. And you can manipulate the score by how well you're playing the game. And you can also make it lower by taking hits, for example. So we're taking a couple hits here on purpose to lower our difficulty score. because it actually makes us do more damage if we go under a certain threshold. You're gonna see us take a couple hits a bit later on as well on purpose, just to make sure we stay under a certain difficulty score, basically. So we'll do maximize our damage when it comes to the boss fights.
Yeah, and there's kind of a few different things that affect the difficulty adjustment. As he said, taking hits affects the difficulty adjustment. Damaging enemies will raise your difficulty adjustment. And there's two other main ways we drop it is by healing. Healing drops your DA and it drops it more based on how low health you are. And dying also gives you a massive DA drop, and we'll see both of those used up here in a little bit.
Yeah, as you could see, there's like these weird appearing texts in front of us. During this DLC, we're gonna be guided kind of by this friendly spirit who calls himself Michael. But you can make your guesses who that might be. But we're not
at all.
Yeah, not obvious at all, totally. So we picked up a heal there, and it's not actually a safety heal that we're picking up. We're gonna be using that heal to lower our difficulty a bit more later. So soon here we're gonna get access to our first gun. So far we've been just having to avoid these enemies. The Michael, the spirit, is giving us a gun. And he tells us to use it against these enemies, but that's slow. So we just avoid the enemies instead. So we have the gun, but we just run past. Funny enough, we don't actually use this gun too much for killing enemies. You can actually use it to manipulate enemies. Maybe Ezekiel could explain that. We're gonna have one soon here happening.
Yeah. If you're familiar with the remakes of 2 and 3, this is kind of a similar mechanic that operates in there, where enemies are attracted to sound and it's dynamic. So you see Trey take a shot there, and the enemy's kind of like drawn to that shot. That's actually a very useful tech that's going to be used quite frequently throughout the run to get enemies to go to certain places so we can hold W and run past them. So it's significantly faster than having to juke them or make any sort of FPS changes. So you'll see Trey do that a few times.
Yeah, we didn't. I guess if you haven't seen my run last year with the Village of Shadows on the main game, changing FPS affects few things in the run. It can make the enemies react a bit slower, but it also makes your hitbox a bit smaller, so you're able to just squeeze by enemies a bit easier. So you might see that we can do it a little bit here in the run, sometimes reactionary and sometimes just on purpose. And here we're actually going to do a goop skip here, which means we're going to flick our mouse into this goop. And for some reason it actually warps us a bit further into this goop and allows us to barely skip through there. Because if you just normally walk into that goop, you're not gonna be able to make that. And that skips a little bit, but it also like doesn't spawn one of the enemies in the library, which will be very useful when you go back through that library section again. There's also another skip here. Technically you could have skipped dropping down this ladder, but it is insanely precise, and I'm a little bit not top form at the moment, so I'm just taking it safe here, okay? Because if you mess up here, we can like be sent back like a minute and a half, and I don't want to do it for. I don't think it's gonna even save time like RTA wise, because normally we would time this with like because we have to change FPS and all that and be a bit slow in that way, but in normal speedruns the menus don't count for the speedrun.
Alright, let's see if this works.
But yeah, here we also got our first flask, which actually gives us ability to interact with this sclerotia, these flower looking things. And all the mold or the goop that is connected to this sclerotia disappear when we use our power on it. So this basically opens up more of the castle and allows us to proceed further.
Can't get around it. Need to get rid of it.
So right here is going to be another example of we're going to take another hit on purpose. This enemy is blocking the way fully, so this is like a double burst. We get the enemy out of the way, but also we drop on danger. So when we heal from danger, we actually drop our difficulty by a lot. So that's good for us.
You also notice Trey, when he took a hit there and earlier at the start of the game, he is putting himself in a corner and getting hit from the side. This causes enemies to just do a normal hit. They don't actually do a grab animation, which is what they always attempt to do. Like that grab, that was super close.
Oh.
That was some. So that I did an earlier pistol shot manipulation, like right there, and it's like 99% consistent. I don't know how I reacted to that. That was like,
All the coffee.
Yeah.
Dude. You've been
it's
waiting
all
too
the
long
coffee.
to react to that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the scary part about getting grabbed in this game. Isn't necessarily the damage, because it's pretty like not bad. It's the animation. When Rose gets grabbed by one of these enemies, the animation you get put through is incredibly long. Actually, all of Rose's death animations are insanely long. You'll see one of them later when an intentional death is taken for difficulty reasons. They're no joke, and getting grabbed by an enemy is just so long, and it's why getting touched is a nightmare. So that was insane that you actually dodged that. I'm still shocked that you sidestepped that.
Yeah. So there's the purifying crystal. That's our goal basically, but it's locked behind a puzzle. We need 3 masks to open up the lock that's holding the purifying crystal. So that's our goal in the castle here. And we're gonna hope this enemy behaves and doesn't actually grab us twice. Gonna bait an attack here and hope he doesn't grab us again. There we go. Perfect. Basically, there's too many enemies here, and the spirit is guiding us this way. We're actually gonna find another flask here, which unlocks another power for us. This is actually the power we can use against enemies here.
Looks like there were more of these.
And we don't know, the game tells us to use it against this enemy here, but we actually gonna just run 30 FPS past him here instead. Because power of 30 FPS.
Very
If you
strong.
tried this on any higher FPS, it wouldn't work out. But yeah, you get to see us use this power here right now. It's like we AoE freeze enemies. So there's like 2 enemies frozen at the same time, or slowed down, I guess. And this next hallway is very scary, so let me focus. Okay, I have the reactionary 30 FPS past this dude.
Should be good.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that hallway is incredibly scary for very obvious reasons. There's 2 enemies, and the first enemy is pretty consistent with his lunge that you saw Trey juke, but the second one is he's a wild card, and you're kind of coin flipping that he sleeps or that he lunges or that he attacks. It's basically all reactionary, and he blocked the path perfectly, which is unfortunate, but the FPS can help us get around him. So it was actually really well done.
Yeah. So basically now we found just a key. It's unlocks more of the castle yet again, and this actually gives us access to the first 2 masks here. One of the masks is actually on top of this Chloracia here, but we're not gonna pick it up yet because we'd have to wait a bit for the mold to clear up there. So we're just gonna run past and pick it up on the way back.
You might notice there's a little bit of a movement tech that Trey is doing on some of these parts whenever he's coming up to interactions where it's a little hard to notice, but he's letting go forward, and if you kind of let go on the right part of the walking animation, you'll do like a little jolt forward. It saves like a little bit of time on each interaction.
So you might wonder why I paused there. That is actually not gonna save us time, I guess, like on this run. Technically, like RPA wise, but I just want to showcase. Normally, you'd get scared by that big monster there, but if we pause there for like 7 seconds, for some reason the game just decides to skip the whole animation. We don't know why that happens, but it's actually faster in normal speedruns we do that because again, being paused actually doesn't move the timer. So.
You also saw Trey, after solving that puzzle, kind of stand in the middle of that platform. If you played the original full game, you're probably familiar with that puzzle room. normally as the first person as Ethan, you can actually just stand in the center and you'll drop. It's really easy, but here as Rose or as a third person, you kind of have to line yourself up perfectly to be at the best spot when the shutters open to teleport to the bottom. Otherwise, the game will teleport you to the side. So that's why he did that lineup so precisely, and he did like the quick turn to face the opposite direction.
Yeah, this basement area is actually, there's a lot of enemies here, but when we just speed run through most of this and just get really quickly by here, it's not going to be no problem, no problem at all. Yeah, here we got our first mask, and now we just have to get out of this area, back to the courtyard. And here I'm actually going to do some pause manipulating on this enemy. This forces a grab animation out of this, and makes us just be able to run by easier. In normal speedruns, we'd actually just turn the game to 30 FPS and just hope he like walks away, which is obviously just a luck-based strat, but it does save a surprising amount of time, so you have to go for it. Especially like, I don't know if you were here for the interview, but a lot of the top runs are like, we have like 15 or 20 seconds of time save against our like best splits in the whole run, in the whole like 42-minute run or 43-minute run. So yeah.
Every half second you can save matters quite a bit. As Trey, I think you mentioned in the interview, but the difference between first and second right now is half a second. So every little bit matters in this run.
Yeah. But yeah, we survived the basement there, and now we're gonna pick up the mask that we cleared earlier. And we're gonna do a pistol shot manipulation here as well, but this is the most inconsistent one. This enemy does very random things, and this is very scary looking, but okay. No, he walked away, thank God. Yeah, we're
that
still...
guy's probably still one of the worst, even with the pistol shot manips. He's super random.
Yeah. But yeah, we're going back to the same, almost the same area. There's actually this side room here. We picked up a painting earlier, and we have to do a painting puzzle here. We have to place the prey, like the prey and the hunters, on the opposite sides here.
There's a bit of, I think, tracking or backtracking right now as he walks back and forth. You probably have time for a donation, if I had to guess, since we're kind of walking back through where we just came.
Yeah, sure. We have plenty in here. A lot of people excited for Resident Evil. We have $100 from Ang Cujo, who says, grew up watching my brother play all of the Resident Evil games through my life. Even now, we live in different states, and he texts me before he starts his Resident Evil streams just to make sure I can still watch. Good luck to all the runners. We have $15 from Sarah Caesar, who says, excited for the Shadow of Rose run. $5 hype train. Here's $15 for me and a few others who can't donate. Love to all the people who make this awesome event happen. Unintended. Less than 3.
All right, so we just picked up our shotgun. This is gonna be our main boss fight weapon. And there's a little bit of tech we use with the shotgun to just make it a bit more powerful, but we'll talk about it a bit later. And here, there's a mask we have to get right there. But can I reach it?
Wait,
What are you doing?
did you practice? Practice before?
I don't know what happened here, but okay, it's actually on purpose. So this is the death on purpose here. Sorry for the screams. All of the runners are kind of tired of hearing these screams, because you have to do this on runs, but it lowers the difficulty so much we have to do it. And this is like a sequence break. Normally you're supposed to clear parts of Scloretia, which drops furniture to the ground, and so you're actually able to access the mask, but we just walked through the goop, and from a specific angle we're able to actually just pick up the mask without doing the whole room. And that saves like a minute and a half running around the room. And right after the cutscene we actually get captured in this little puzzle jail sequence where you're supposed to find this correct Sclerotia. But
Nice job on
obviously
that.
we know, yeah. But obviously we know which ones are the ones we need to clear here, and we actually got a checkpoint right there when the enemy grabbed us, so we were able to just restart the checkpoint even though we got grabbed by the enemy, and the enemy just disappears.
That part looks like it was easy, but that part's actually like a really tight timing. What Trey had to just do there. He basically had to, after he cleared the first Sclerotia, he had to like line up perfectly to get the next one, because you're actually supposed to shoot that enemy because it's meant to body block the flower that you need to break. But if you position yourself perfectly and line your mouse up in the middle of your screen where it's going to spawn, you can hit it without it overlapping the enemy, and so you don't get interrupted. You can clear it, and then you can clear the one on the ceiling just in time before he grabs you, which lets you basically break that sequence a little bit. Just nice job.
But yeah, now we have all the 3 masks, and we're actually heading for the first boss fight of this run.
Yeah.
Before we explain the shotgun shooting technique, and I guess the fight itself, we're gonna put in the 3 masks, and oh no, the crystal here is actually a fake, and we get captured again into the boss arena. Yeah.
I know.
Maybe we can explain the shotgun shooting technique before we get into the fight.
You can explain that one, Zeke, if you want.
Yeah. So in the normal Resident Evil Village, if you remember Trey's run from last year, if you leave one shell in the chamber, you shoot the gun faster. That's still kind of the case with this, but there's actually a bit more tech involved to make it work, because it's not as fast as it is in the main game. So what you'll see Trey doing is he'll be basically aiming and shooting and then releasing his aim and doing it kind of on repeat like that to get the pump action shot really fast. It's actually incredibly important to do it correctly in order to execute the boss fight in the phases that he needs to. So I'll let Spicee explain this fight. He's the expert. But yeah.
Yeah, Trey's gonna open the fight up here with a pipe bomb, which is gonna pull him out of the animation where he's spawning faster and show the weak spot. And then after these first 2 shots, or 3 shots, you're gonna see Trey start to use this quick shooting tech. And basically the goal for this first phase of this fight here is to keep the boss stun locked and to keep him out of doing one of the certain attacks on his second attack. So if he gets it here, nice, he got the double grab, so that's like the good RNG. Slightly RNG, slightly positioning, but that was a really good first phase. Keeping him stun locked and making sure he couldn't do anything for the entire time. The second phase here starts with 2 enemies that are going to spawn. The shotgun ammo for this fight and for the last boss fight is pretty tight in hardcore, so he actually needs to make sure to try to kill these enemies with the pistol, which can be a little scary, especially because Rose doesn't really know how to aim a gun, and the reticle is more of like a suggestion to where the bullets might go. But shouldn't be too bad. There they go. He's gonna run back and pick up some shotgun ammo, and then for the second phase, there's a little bit of a riskier strat here. If you can get 5 shots on the weak point here before he starts charging. There we go. He gets 5. Then he should be able to get. Oh,
What? Okay.
should be all right still.
Oh, whoops. What? Oh my.
Oh,
Oh my goodness. Okay, you know what? That's fine. Maybe. I did it fine. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna have to improvise here a bit.
can be recovered.
Hopefully,
Well, yeah,
I did.
as I said, that strat is it's a little bit risky. If you don't get the stagger when he does the charge forward, it can fall apart quite quickly. But he pulled it together. He's gonna be a little short on shotgun ammo, but it should still be fine. This third phase is again 2 more adds, but you need to grab this flask to actually start the third phase. So he's gonna use the pipe bomb to get rid of the 2 enemies, to get the third phase started a little faster, and also to just not have to deal with the adds during the third phase. And this strat for third phase is, it's basically the same as first phase, where you just keep him in a stun lock, pretty much. There's a certain way you have to do this, where you shoot him from the side. You'll see Trey is intentionally standing on the side to get a side stagger, because when you stagger him from the side, you could freeze him again immediately after. But if you do it from the back, it gives a different animation, or it doesn't let you freeze him. It should go down here.
Nice.
Okay.
There we go. Nice recovery from the second phase. Good job.
Yeah. Normally we'd have like at least 1 extra shotgun shell there, and you'd be able to finish him without using the pistols. But yeah, I grabbed a couple extra. Yeah, I did grab a couple extra shotgun shells just to be safe. And good thing
was
that I
really
did.
good.
Good thing that I did, because yeah.
That was definitely a good call. If you guys didn't notice during that fight, one of the biggest pain points of it is that hammer that he holds will soak your shots. It is a massive magnet of the pellets, and it basically is like a full deflect. So recovering that fight is a lot harder than it seems, because we basically, the strats Trey was doing there was to avoid a teleportation phase in the last phase, and you executed it, perfectly after the recovery. So it was awesome.
Yeah, and after beating the fight, we're kind of entering even deeper into the consciousness, and things keep getting a bit weirder here. Something's not right. We could have maybe one more donation here.
Yes, we have a $50 donation from Blossom M. I hope I said that right. Blossom M or Blossom says, on behalf of the entire clown posse, we're proud of you, Ray, and good luck on the run.
Oh, thank you, Blossom. But yeah, this is like the Beneviento section, kind of similar in the main game. It's again.
This is where good runs go to die.
Yeah. Funny enough, this is like one of the hardest part of the run, even though we're technically not fighting anything here, because the interaction, like if you interact with the thing even once, you're gonna lose like 5 to 7 seconds from one mistake, and that's pretty much a dead run at that point. And there's a lot of like interactions very close to each other, so obviously it's not like life-threatening. The run will live, but if you're like gunning for top times, it's very easy to mess up here.
Are we gonna get a glimpse of the forbidden movement tech? Basically, I can try to explain. There's a tech that we decided to ban it in this DLC because it's pretty toxic, and it would apply in the entire DLC and requires a lot of mashing. But if you just like mash forward while you don't have a weapon in your hand, but you can also do it with weapons in your hands, but it requires even more inputs. You can move like twice as fast. It's absurd, but
yeah, let me try to see if I can do the mashing movement a little bit here. This felt really delayed for some reason. Oh, okay. It's probably fine.
How to play with dolls, don't you?
But yeah, that's the second part of the puzzle area here. Now we need to play with dolls. Let me see if I can do the spamming correctly. It's like very precise rhythm to get this like going, but basically you kind of like trick the animation system to kind of just slide over really, really quickly. I don't think I'm awake enough to spam that correct rhythm at 6.
There.
Yeah.
you
Wasn't
kinda
really the
see what the
correct speed
idea
though.
is.
Yeah. But you can like really speed up with if you like get it correctly, and it's kind of crazy. But again, this whole thing ended up being banned because it would have applied to the whole run. I don't think a lot of the runners would have been happy running this game, because it would be just
Want me to play with
kill everybody's hand basically. Just spamming the whole run basically.
Yeah, right there with those interactions. You saw when he put the doll down, he was about to put the other one down. Then if your camera is facing at all the doll you just put down, you don't even get a confirmation prompt. You just grab it basically. And it's important, especially when you're trying to push for record times in this or top times, that you set up the dolls in the key item inventory in a specific way. So you'll see Trey like put dolls down and pick them up in a certain order so that he can mash to do it in another spot for the most possible time save. That's a recurring theme in Resident Evil titles, is to be as fast and optimal as you can with key items and such. So that's why this is where runs go to die, like Spicee said, is because we're trying to go as fast as we can. And when the interact system is so questionable, I guess, if we want to put it nicely, we have to risk it all for, this is literally a high risk, high reward area.
Yeah, and if you like put a wrong doll in a wrong spot there, the game just literally won't let you interact with the thing for like 5 seconds. It's like just you have to just wait. So yeah, you have to get all these inputs just quickly and perfectly if you're actually gunning for top times. Just,
Yeah. The running thought is that Capcom wants to make you sit there and think about what you've done when you've made a mistake. So they make you wait about 7 seconds before you interact with anything else.
Pretty much.
And yeah, he's putting the dolls down here in specific order. Kind of like I mentioned a moment ago. Once he puts these down, a new doll will open up in this drawer here. And if you've ever played Resident Evil 7, the doll will be familiar as it's straight out of that game. Now he's picking them up in a certain order. So now when he runs to this other table in this room up ahead, he's going to go around the table and just mash the confirmation keys so that it'll put down the first one in the inventory slot. And that'll basically set up the perfect inputs that he needs.
Yeah, and you'll see when he did that first interaction on the table. There's another little tech when you're doing these interactions. You'll see when he's coming out of these interactions, he's not really in the same spot that he went into them from, and you can kind of make that work in your favor. Rose does that like little slide when you release W out of like the interaction, so you can kind of run on the left side of the table, do the first interaction, and then you'll come out kind of behind the table already. And it actually saves quite a bit of time.
Yeah. Anyway, in this Benevento section, we've been haunted by a girl, and I wonder who that could be if you played any of the other RE games.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Doesn't ring a bell.
That's
Rings a
little
phone
bit
though.
familiar.
Rings a phone though.
Okay.
Anyway. Okay. Anyway, back to the game. Right. What's happening now? Yeah, we have a key. We open up this thing, and we're gonna be told to don't look away. I wonder why. Can you hear something? I don't hear anything.
Still so creepy.
It is creepy, even running the game after so many times.
Yeah. So if you didn't realize, these dolls move when you don't look at them. So, but funny enough, we can just run past most of these and just be fine. And here we're actually gonna do with the power of 30 FPS. We're gonna just squeeze by this one doll here. And these dolls actually have like a one-hit kill mechanic, so if they just grab you, you die. And, you get sent back to the previous checkpoint.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with what the mechanic is of these, it's like it's similar to a weeping angel. If you're familiar with that lore, I suppose. If you look at them, they stop moving. If you look away, they follow you.
Yeah. But anyway, we got through that section nicely. That section like is pretty consistent. Like there's only like one kind of random thing that can happen where one of the dolls sometimes just blocks the doorway, but other than that, it's pretty alright. You just follow the right lines. And yeah, things get even more weirder. Now we're a small rows, and there's a bunch of murdering dolls here. And here's actually gonna be a little bit of an unintended way of clearing a Scleresha. We're gonna be doing it from down here. Normally you're supposed to get on top of the table and go around and all that, but we ain't got time for that. So, and we have to do that very fast, and it's also very precise the spot we need to aim with our power, because yeah, the dolls are on like a patrolling cycle. So if we just take even a little bit of time, don't find the correct pixel to aim at, yeah, we're gonna get caught.
Yeah, this whole section from beginning to end kind of went through like so many different variations and changes over like a week of time, and the current strat saves so much time over like the intended way. It's insane.
Yeah. These dolls won't like one-shot kill you, but they drop us to danger, and being in danger is actually like it takes forever. Like you do regenerate your health back, but it just takes forever and it goes so slowly. So we'd rather just hope we don't get hit by these dolls. There's a little bit of unintended way. We can just aim at this spot to clear another Sclerotia, which opens up the pathway. And here, hopefully I don't mess up, because this is kind of a precise way of doing this section here. We barely avoided the grab there, and now I have to be very fast at using my power here, so the other doll doesn't react to me. Actually, he did, so I have to... Oh. Unfortunate.
That's alright. Should be alright.
Yeah, we have to limp a little bit in danger, though. And as I said, this might take a moment.
At least you guys get to see the limping animation is the funniest thing.
I'm just gonna clear this doll now, just to be safe here.
I think
Optimally, we would not get... actually, I think I'm gonna wait to get our health back here. Oh, this actually takes forever, doesn't it?
I actually forgot how long it took to regen here over time.
Wow. Okay, there we go.
Perfect timing.
And now if you're quick enough, there's another giant doll here. And again, these ones have the one-hit kill mechanic, so you have to be very quick to do that. But there's like backup ways in case you're like miss your power there a bit. So and we have to like wait here regardless. So
yeah, that last bulb he just cleared, that is actually probably the hardest part of this entire run. It's pretty precise the way that you have to clear it, and if you really move your mouse like at all while you're clearing it, it'll kind of reset the progress. And if you are even a little bit slower, get even one small reset on it, the doll will aggro, and it's pretty bad. There's a backup for the doll aggros, but you don't want to be in a position really where you have to go for the backup, of course.
yeah, and on this section, you might have... I just like restarted checkpoint right after a cutscene, because for some reason on high FPS, this doll just is able to like... on hardcore difficulty, on high FPS, this doll will always catch you the first time, unless you restart checkpoint. So it's kind of weird bug, I guess.
look at all the decorations.
You definitely say it seems like an oversight.
Kind of party
Yeah.
upstairs. I'll take a look.
Yeah, we're in a very familiar looking location if you played the main game,
This is
though very briefly only.
bedroom.
I've seen this place too many times.
She'll look like
Too many times.
What's that voice?
Probably, I'd say a good time for some donations since we have to sit through a little bit of dialogue.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. We have plenty more coming in. We have $10 from Nico with a C, who says, yes, sir. They call it Shadows of Rose. 50% withholding, 50% giga resetting at Beneviento. Good luck on the amok running, guys. Hope y'all get back safely from off the Indian Ocean and that every day stops feeling the same. Love you guys. Less than 3.
Good one, Nico.
Nice, Nico.
Very good. Very good.
We have $50 from Maddie 2 Hattie, who says, Trey the GOAT. This one goes to my mom who passed from cancer 2 years ago. Love watching the best Resident Evil runner of all time.
Oh, thanks.
And with Hazardous Storm with a $500 donation, says, my spouse was introduced to Resident Evil as a 6-month-old when their dad played it with them propped up on the couch. Nearly a couple decades later, they introduced me to the series, and now together we're hyped to see the latest piece of the series get pulled apart. Hazardous, thank you for the $500. Thank you very, very much. And just a reminder, we are over $4,000 on the Dead Space 3 Awakened DLC run. About $6,000 away. That'll be coming up in just a few runs, so make sure you get your donations in for that.
Yeah, we're almost done with the Beneviento section here. We saw that the girl who's been taunting us is Evelyn from Resident Evil 7.
Michael,
Yeah, we have a little bit of a fight coming up here. A very epic show off.
Evelyn, that little girl.
Basically, in this fight, we're just... Basically, we have to take... It's like very scripted if you just get this fight correctly. You just take turns on using powers. Basically, you have to avoid Evelyn using his power, and then we take our turn to use our power. We can actually speed this up by starting to... So if we channel our power on Evelyn like this, she starts her attacks faster. So we'll get to actually counter-attack here after the 3 blast a bit faster. And this saves in this whole fight like, I don't know, 10, 15 seconds if I remember correctly, but I could be a bit wrong. It's been a while since we timed this.
That's great.
Yeah, that sounds about right. It's a lot.
A pretty substantial time save, and obviously, you know, like Trey said earlier, this is obviously Evelyn from RE7. She's doing the same, like, it's pretty basically like a callback to the fight with Evelyn in 7. She's doing the same attack she does there. And there's a lot of tie-in to Evelyn in this game. Evelyn obviously playing a pretty substantial part in the Resident Evil storyline from 7 to Shadows of Rose, so that's why we're seeing her here now.
Yeah. So here we're gonna be taking this hit because it actually makes us just able to get faster up here. And now we have to wait for 4 blasts here. 2, 3, and 4. And if we just run into Evelyn now, we actually make her move to her last spot faster again. And with that, the fight is done.
You aimed a little far left there.
No.
I was a little scared.
Your cursor came completely out. I feel
I don't know what happened. So there's like a random chance. Well, I wouldn't say random, but it's like sometimes if you aim too much left, or like a bit away from the Evelyn, basically it kind of goes off from Evelyn, and then Evelyn just insta counter attacks you. I guess depending on how your health is, you might just die to it, but it also just slows it down quite a bit. So
I'm on my own.
yeah.
But I have to keep going.
Anyway.
Nice fight, though. Good job.
Yeah, deeper into the consciousness we go again. I love this site here. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's so sick looking.
What is this place?
I don't know, maybe this is like, for some reason this reminds me of Bloodborne, but maybe that's just only me. For some reason the view up from the cliff there.
The closest we're getting to Bloodborne on PC.
Yeah.
What?
This runs at 120 FPS though. Might not have the same mechanics though, but
The castle.
Kind of a Souls-like.
yeah, kind of. And here we have to squeeze by a lot of these enemies. I'm actually gonna have to go 30 FPS here because these hitboxes are huge on these enemies. And we have to take kind of a specific line to not get stuck there because, yeah. And we're... Basically there's a little bit off, we're kind of just running towards the last boss fight here. Maybe there's like one more donation here at least.
Yeah, we have a $100 donation from Ethan Winters, who says, I'd like everyone to see my daughter, and I, of course, need to do my part to support her. Appa's rooting for you, Rose.
She'll be fine, she'll be fine.
I need to find
Maybe one
the
more,
castle.
maybe one more.
Sure. We have a $100 donation from Java Splice, who says, Resident Evil. Thank you, Java Splice.
Yeah, in here, this is basically kind of the... Just like in the main game, this is kind of the lore dump cave where there's a lot of nodes and it's kind of trying to explain more of the DLC, but you guess we don't really have to go super in depth on it if you guys are interested in playing it. So there's some things to read for you guys if you're get to hear all the way to the end
There's that
almost.
again. It's so strong.
Yeah, funny enough, in that lore cave, they actually give you
I'm almost there.
basically the perfect amount of shotgun ammo that you need for this last boss fight. Like almost down to the exact amount. Sometimes you have like one left.
It's through here.
No. How convenient for speedrunners. They must have thought for that we
Really?
need 22 shotgun shells for this last boss fight.
This one's the real deal.
But yeah, here's the real purifying crystal, but oh no, it's a Miranda's plan to just try to
Who's that handsome
Again.
fella in front of you?
and that I don't know. Who could he be? Michael?
That's Michael.
Didn't you just donate? How's he here?
No.
You have an internet connection over there? That's crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, it's Ethan Winters has been the Michael and all that, and
I didn't want to complicate things.
yeah, we have a little bit of a more run to the last boss fight. Basically, Miranda just baited us into this consciousness to try to again use Rose for as a vessel to resurrect her own daughter, but yeah. Maybe you can start explaining the last boss fight already, because it's gonna start here soon.
Yeah. So this is the Miranda boss fight, and it's kind of a technical fight, but everything's done in a certain way for it to work correctly. So we have a slew of powers we're going to use during this, but primarily we're going to use a Mega Mycete power that pulls Miranda out of the sky. But we need to start the fight by bringing her down to 14,000 health. So Trey's going to start the fight by running up and doing a couple shotgun shots to her. And then once he does that, he's going to pull her out of the sky once she staggers. This skips a phase where Miranda would have otherwise taken reduced damage in this part. So now he's blasting her down to the next threshold. As you can see, he's also going into his inventory to refill his power. So he's going to back up so he doesn't get hit there. Do the same thing here to time it perfectly. Bring her back down. Go back into his inventory to refill his power. And then he's going to start blasting her again. This to bring her down to the next and last damage threshold point, which is, I think, 5,000. It's very important that he does this so that he doesn't bring her into the incorrect health threshold, which would make her take significantly reduced damage. And now it's important that he doesn't miss. He blasts into her until she dies. And she's going to fly into the air and do a dialogue line.
Oh boy. Did I get it? Health.
Nice.
Yeah, one of the shotgun shells didn't do full damage, so that was really close of not getting the perfect fight. But yeah,
Yeah.
now we're in the scripted part of the fight here. There's really nothing we can do here. We have to take these hits. And Ethan comes and gives a little bit more strength, and we power up and Super Saiyan. We're in the way. And we're about to have time here soon. After this game transition into cutscene, so soon here. I don't know exactly how much dialogue there was here, but
Pause
soon.
champ.
It's soon. It's soon.
Pause champ, everyone. It's happening.
And time.
Good job. Good run.
GG's. I thought the first boss fight being a little bit messy at the second phase. It was a pretty good run.
Yeah.
So thanks so much for
Hey, sweetie.
obviously GDQ having me. Unfortunately, Spicee's internet couldn't has been kind of all over. With he could have had his first chance to actually run on a GDQ or mainline GDQ event, but
I'm so sorry.
maybe next time internet issues have been fixed for him and all that. Obviously, thanks so much for Ezekiel as well for commentating here with Spicee. I also want to thank a lot of the cool creators for the RE games. They've been lifesavers, and they've made just routing and figuring all these strats out incredibly much easier. And less confusing, because like this last Miranda fight would have been impossibly hard to understand without any of the tools we have for this game. And yeah, am I missing anything? Am I missing anything, guys?
Sounded good to me.
Yeah, it sounded pretty good. You did a great job. It was a great run, dude.
All right, GG's. Thanks so much for having me at GDQ.
Very proud of you.
All right, one more time in the chat. Let's hear it with a time of 47 minutes, 32 seconds. That's Trey D, Resident Evil Village, Shadow of Rose. Well done. We had another donation I wanted to read real quick. We had $200 from JiggyX42, who said, had to donate for Resident Evil. Probably the Resident Evil game I've played the most. Let's demolish cancer. Thank you, JiggyX. Let's do that indeed. AGDQ 2023 Online will continue after this. All right, and welcome back to AGDQ 2023 Online, powered by Twitch. Again, we're in awe of that amazing Resident Evil Village run by Trey D. We had a few more donations. Got a lot of love for Resident Evil coming in. We had a $50 donation here from Maddie, who says, continuing my tradition of donating to all Resident Evil runs at GDQ. Resident Evil hype. Also, speedrunning isn't limited to AGDQ and SGDQ. You can watch every weekday night at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern here on Games Done Quick with Hotfix. We have 22 different shows with specials on the weekends. For more information, go to gamesdonequick.com/hotfix. Hotfix shows off communities in speedrunning that are sometimes overlooked during marathons and elevate speedrunners all year round. We have shows for all interests, including ones that can help you find new games, teach you how to speedrun, and shows focused on more niche parts of speedrunning, such as randomizers. We also have special events. Some of our shows are every other Monday, No Category Left Behind and She Is Speed, and also every other Monday, Awfully Silly, and That's Never Happened Before. The hype for Resident Evil is just continuing to roll on in here. We had a $25 donation from Graham64 that said, "Nice incentive, Ethan." Currently getting prepared for our next run. It's still in the oven. We're getting it ready. It'll be Maxi Lobes with Resident Evil 7. This will be the end of Zoe. We have like a little bit of a side expansion theme going on here with Resident Evil. Very, very, very unique. Well, right now, we are getting ready. We have had 3 amazing days here at AGDQ 2023 online. We are going to get ready to talk a few minutes for what happened, all the amazing things that happened on Tuesday. So let us throw it over right now. We have ADEF, Kung Fu Fruit Cup, Spike Vegeta, and J-Hobbs with our daily recap for Tuesday.
Okay. All right. There's a few more things to talk about. There's a little bit more to talk about than just Super Mario Galaxy 2.
Yes.
There were a few other games that happened today.
It's everything. Welcome, everybody. My name is Jay Hobbs. I am joined by Kung Fu Fruit Cup, ADEF, and Spike Vegeta. We are here to tell you about some of the runs you may have missed and should go back and check out the VODs for from Tuesday. Fantastic day of games. And well, let's just get right into it. Why don't we? So, Fu, I know you're always hitting up that late night block. What do you got for us?
Yes, I was still awake, which was great because I got to catch Punchy's Illbleed run. And as always, classic Punchy, bringing in such a random but amazing game with incredibly good commentary. That is like a run that you need to go back and watch the commentary for. So in this instance, Punchy is going through, has already been like a wooden doll and T-post one of the bosses to death. And in this instance, has stolen a controller, and you're going to see him run this spider into the wall with a controller. And that is how you beat this boss. This is one of the many examples of the things that Punchy's able to do in this game to progress through. I mean, what a speed run. This is like classic. You need to see the whole thing. It's amazing.
God, Illbleed is so funny, dude. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So
We
weird.
love a Dreamcast title. We love a Dreamcast.
Just a great, silly game. All right. Well, let's see. ADEF, you had a game that you just could not stop talking about while we were filming the pre-show, and every day since then. It's been a month.
Okay, yes, for a month straight, I have been hyping up Ape Escape 2 by my boy Liquid Squid, and I'm here to tell you it lived up to the hype. My man gave this deadpan, delightful comedic commentary from start to finish, and just an amazing speedrun. Ape Escape 2 is so good. You can see him using the gadgets here to be able to infinitely float upwards to go out of bounds, to quickly skip around sections in like all these levels and capture these escaped apes as quickly as possible. I like... This run, I know we talk about this a lot, or I talk about this a lot, but I love the like late night vibe of GDQ, and this run encapsulated that.
Yeah, could not agree more. Very fun one, for sure. Oh, man. All right. Well, we got plenty of extra ones. And I mean, Spike, you'd think I'd be the one to talk about it, but I want to throw it over to you for our next one here, because I know that you, like I, am a big fan of Ratchet & Clank Up Your Arsenal.
One of the greatest 3D platforming speedruns of all time, Ratchet & Clank Up Your Arsenal. We just saw it recently by Scott Abozo, getting to show off the all-titanium bolts. And right here, this is textbook Ouya speedrunning right here. Able to clip out of bounds right there. And then through all this incredible string of pieces of movement tech, able to barely scathe out of bounds, kind of barely going back in right here, and then just gonna barely extend yourself into the boss arena with this last little lift up and then start the boss fight right there. It's wall-to-wall action the entire time while you're watching it. Make sure you go back and watch this entire run. The commentary was great as well. Beautiful stuff.
Absolutely.
Beautiful
Great.
movement all around. I absolutely love this one, and it's so hard to get those chained long jumps out of those infinite jumps too.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. Yeah,
Very, very good movement there.
I know, right? It's
Yes,
just, we're all floored.
I'm speechless.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible. All right. Well, we do have more to show you, of course, and we had another great set of runs in the Castlevania block this morning. Adef, I know you caught those ones. You wanted to be able to talk a little bit about them.
Yeah,
Excuse
so
me.
yeah, no worries. The whole Castlevania block was amazing. We have this amazing clip from this race of Castlevania Aria of Sorrow between Jupiter Climb and Chewie. On the left, we have Jupiter doing this really difficult boss where they're having to jump around these like moving projectiles to attack the boss. Meanwhile, on the right, Chewie is zipping out of bounds and has to like save and quit in order to like successfully get into the wall.
We're gonna have to let this one loop. I gotta see the right side. I was so focused on the left. Here we go.
You got to watch both. Here's Chewie going into the wall. I mean, it's just, there's so much happening. I feel like you got to watch this race 2 times. You got to watch the left perspective and then the right perspective. It was a great race and a great run.
Gosh, and you can see like the menuing afterwards. That's just like, I'm sitting like, oh, this is on like fast forward, right? No, that's the runner at real time. So much impressive stuff going on in these 2D Castlevanias all at once.
Castlevania games.
Agreed.
Fu and I think have both have jumped into Castlevania somewhat recently, right? And it's very
and
cool.
I'm so glad I did. Now that I've been watching the speedruns, it's great. It's great. I mean, it makes me realize how bad I am. But let's not talk about me. I want to talk about Transistor for a second.
Oh, absolutely.
That's all right.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that you and I were speaking on that, Hobbs, but Cass had a great Transistor run earlier with a strange kind of that's never happened before moment. Shout out to the Hotfix Show. But Cass,
I love his face here.
Yeah, it was like during either the last boss or one of the last bosses of the actual game, something happened right in the middle of that caused a crash.
Yeah, there we see it. I was watching during that final boss, and he said out of hundreds of attempts of this game, has seen the game crash maybe 3 times. The commentator said out of 500 plus attempts in this game, I've never seen the game crash in that spot. Like I've only seen it a few times at all. And for it to happen.
Right. It was such a strange instance because the rest of the run was so smooth and we had it was so chill and like such a smooth watch that like seeing it was just like very, I don't know, it was just a contrast.
Yeah.
To see it suddenly like break.
And I think one of the big
crash
things too is this crash, just getting to see Cass's webcam here.
Yes.
All of his reactions.
Yeah.
This is so exemplary.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's so exemplary.
Then he brought it back around and like finish off the boss. Everything was great. It was like super smooth and good to go.
It's just such a good example of the level of commentary that this run provided. And there were so many good runs when it comes to commentary. Now, Spike,
speaking of good commentary,
we got another clip here from a run that also had fantastic commentary.
Yeah.
It was excellent. The run itself was incredible. However, we didn't allow Spike to watch this one beforehand.
I think the rest of us have all seen
I was not permitted to watch this. We each take a couple of these. I said, I'll take the Fashion Police Squad. They were like, don't watch it. I was like, okay. So this is a live reaction. This is YouTube live reaction right here.
He was too busy with SMG2 getting prepped, but yeah, we're gonna show him Dangerous here with Fashion Police Squad because just an incredible moment in this fantastic speed run.
Such a good run.
What is happening? Okay, so we hit the load screen right there. This guy has beautiful hair, and then
we're getting some setup. You want to be watching the camera?
What? He's running.
Oh, I know, with even the lights on.
Yeah.
Just wait, Spike, wait until you see the final move of this segment. Wait until he goes on the floor and does a dance move you will not expect, and it will.
What is happening?
Oh, absolutely love it. And so many people were sending into the Twitter.
What?
Okay, hang, hold, ready?
No.
If that's not a reason to go back and watch that run if you missed it. I don't know what is.
It's beautiful. Also, it's worth mentioning if you didn't actually watch the Fashion Police Squad run, it's
Yeah, we
So
took,
good.
we took that little spot, but the actual speed running was also top tier. It was super fun. They had a dev on commentary as well. It was just absolutely. I talked about it last recap. I was like, you gotta watch Fashion Police Squad, and Dangerous, of course, delivered. So very
really,
cool run.
really
Everyone.
fun runs over the last day.
Absolutely, yeah.
It was awful block hasn't even happened yet. We're just like, here's all the good games that are also extremely funny. We had Ape Escape, we had Illbleed. My God, Fashion Police
So many
Squad.
good ones. But before we get out of here, we did ask all of you out there what some of your favorites from the day were. So we want to go ahead and celebrate a few of those right now, today. We have at Super Justin Bros said Fashion Police Squad and Super Mario Odyssey 2. I believe they meant Galaxy.
They announced it finally.
They announced it. Wow.
oh my god, it came out.
Yeah.
Been waiting 5 years.
How do we miss
They were
that?
their favorites for today. The former for all the crazy at Hype Action and for being a game I've never heard of, and the latter for the speedy gameplay and the world record. Of course, the world record. We kind of talked about it at the top. I mean, why don't we just? I'm just going to leave it up to our production team to go ahead and show some of the people that were talking about the Super Mario Galaxy 2 world record, because we were all so floored. Fantastic commentary from you, Spike, and your co-commentator Rox. Tell us a little bit about that run. And we didn't pick a clip because it's just too much.
It's honestly, I would recommend everybody just, if you are a fan of, it's the same thing we talked about with Ouya earlier. If you're just a fan of like 3D platforming, make sure you owe it to yourself to go watch Super Mario Galaxy 2. It is a game, despite its pacing, it has incredible movement tech all over the place between Yoshi Infinite Flutters and Cloud Bouncing and all this other stuff that I won't get into. I want to give a big shouts to my co-commentator, Rox, young prodigy of speedrun commentary. He was amazing to get to join in with on the mic. And all 4 runners killed it. A lot of people are going to walk away saying, man, Jay killed it, got the world record. All 4 of those runners got near 3-hour times in that game, which a couple years ago, nobody would have been anywhere close to that, 20 minutes above that. So incredible stuff. Make sure you go watch it. High level gameplay the entire way through by all 4 runners.
Yeah, for sure. Loved catching that one. We had some other great runs as well throughout the day. At Piece of Hannah says, honestly, loved catching the Wavetail run.
Yes.
Very cool one as well. I got to got to interview that runner, and it was super great. Glint did a fantastic job. And just so many more. We cannot talk about all of them, but we do want to pick out a few gems we think maybe you should tune in for tomorrow. So, Fu, why don't you hit us up? What do you got?
Yes, I want to go because not only have we just gotten to see the Shadow of Rose DLC, which was amazing. I love showing off the bonus games, talking about the bonus games, hyping up the bonus games. So not only was that awesome, and I'm super excited for the rest of the horror block. I think it's going to be fantastic. We got some like familiar faces doing runs and all kinds of it's just great people doing great runs. But then our next bonus game is Stray. And everybody loves Stray because Stray is a cute cat. And I'm really excited to see the run. It was like a really consistent, good run, basically from day one. So I'm super excited to see that in the marathon. We definitely need to hit that next bonus game. So make sure you get your donations in for that. Very excited.
All right.
Kitties.
Kitties. 8F. What are your picks?
So I've got 2 picks, and I'm happy to say they are back to back. So if you can free up your time in your schedule for this, you can do both. So we have Ocarina of Time 3D by my good friend Ben Stevens 56. That is not going to be something you're going to want to miss. The any % speedrun for Ocarina of Time 3D has evolved tremendously over the course of the last 2 years or so. It just keeps changing. They keep saying, well, if we found this trick, and then it gets found. So you should absolutely tune in for that. And then also Pokemon, there's a bid war between red or yellow for Pokeguide to speedrun. That'll be a great example. Gen 1 Pokemon speedrunning. This is like classic RTA right here. So I highly recommend you get your donations in for that bid war and stay tuned for that.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in with Sonic Advance 2, a character bid war for that as well. Kirby Master's running this one, and Kirby Master puts so much time into the Sonic Advance games. And also, this is like one of my favorite Sonic speedruns ever. Sonic Advance 2 is just so cool. It's an extremely tough speedrun to maintain lots of momentum and has a lot of really neat tricks to it. And the Stardew Valley race between Blackheart Wings and the Valiant Sun, that is a very, very cool one. Stardew Valley, like a game until a few years ago, I never would have thought would be good for speedrunning, is quickly becoming one of my favorites to watch. Absolutely love it. And I believe I've probably saved it the longest for last. If I know you, Spike, what you want to call one out for tomorrow?
Yeah, one.
What, Spike being verbose?
No, I mean the longest
way.
run. The longest run.
I think
Hobbs
both
is just
count here.
destroying me in front of everyone.
Both the answers.
All right, dude, start talking. One quick shout, honestly, Sonic Unleashed tomorrow, I think is one of the 10 greatest speedruns of all time. Watch Sonic Unleashed. It's incredible. But also, yes, I'm going to give you the rest of the day in Final Fantasy VII. Any percent no slots will be done tomorrow by Zeal, the world record holder for the game. I think that's really cool because over the last 5 years in particular, so many major discoveries have been made in that game as a speedrun. Like, yes, watch it. You're a big Final Fantasy VII fan. You want to see Cloud and all of them go on their adventure together, get comfy. But also, you'll see so many things. They've made so many discoveries that have been like, hey, skip an hour of the run. This major slow sequence they completely skipped over. Make sure you check that out and see all the discoveries that community has found over the last 5 years. Make sure to not miss all 7 hours of it. So
all 7 hours. All right. Well, that is going to do it for us here today, folks. We will see you all tomorrow for the daily recap for Wednesday. Lots of great speedruns. You got so much to watch. Please be sure to check them all out and keep those donations coming at games.quick.com/donate. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Thank you very much. Tuesday, definitely jam-packed here at AGDQ 2023 online. But just because we've done a daily recap doesn't mean anything's going to stop. The horror block continues. Our next run is currently getting set up. We got more donations coming in, though. We had a $50 donation from Ashamed Elephant who said, always want more runs in a GDQ event. Here's to the Dead Space DLC. Thank you very much for the 50. Now, that gives me an opportunity to let you know a little bit of math here. I'm a math guy, all right? I have a math trophy at my mom's house, okay? So let me let you in on a little secret. We're about $6,000 away from the Dead Space 3 Awakened DLC run, but we're also about $6,000 away from $500,000. Are you picking up what I'm putting down there? That might be an opportunity for you to take advantage of. 6K away from Dead Space 3 DLC, 6K away from $500,000. Hey, I think you know what to do at this point. All right, our next run of awesome games done quick, 2023 online is ready to go. Our next run will be joining us for his 8th GDQ event. And we'll be playing a game that we haven't seen since SGDQ 2021 online. Coming up next, this is Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, the End of Zoe side story, any percent category by the one and only Maxi Lobes.